Roger, Roger. I was something. Was that you that we were talking about somebody that was no longer with us, and we were trying to decide if he might have gotten between 3,000 volts?
Yeah, he died of something totally different, but he did not die of electrocution.
Okay, but a good thing to think about if you are into doing your thing and it involves a high voltage, that the most important thing is I think make sure things are off and get a ground on that high voltage to short anything that might be there. In the Navy, they called this item an S stick. That would be a ground wire attached to a wooden rod, and they would open the back door to these transmitters and just go tapping around there. Fairly well, should be dead, but they wanted to be sure they were not dead, and so they did, use that to tap around to make sure things were dead, and then they would clip that to a high voltage point to make sure it didn't come back alive.
Oh yeah, chicken stick, an S stick, a short stick, that's what that stands for. Normally fiberglass, you take a fiberglass driveway pole for $3 or something, Home Depot, and put your connector on the end of it and feed you a number 10 gauge stranded wire down the side of it with some tape on it, and put some copper strap down there for good conductivity, and have a clamp on a deal, like a static clamp on charge clamp. And boy, you can just go to town. I mean, you can go to town. I remember one day I had a loaded capacitor. I mean, it was loaded big time. And when I hit that thing to the ground, it went off like a 50 caliber beside my head.
Roger, Roger. Now, I would tell you, I have seen the most amazing thing. Like, overseas, Ukraine and Russia are in this great fight. All right, so there are some other European countries that were getting their power, mainly electricity at this point, from Russia, and they decided that they were going to break away from the Russian power source and revert to somebody else's power input for our country. So I saw this thing. They have these big clamps that clamp onto these other connectors that make this connection. And this guy, I don't know how they do it or what they do, but this was the moment that they broke away from the Russian power source, moving towards their new source. And there were flames, actual flames, about 4 feet long. Looks like cracks of electrical static or electrical lightning between as they move the switch away from each other. And there was a 4 foot, at least 4 foot arcing at that point. Roger?
That's called 6146 kVA.
Just amazing there. And this was like 3 or 4 at a time. They moved out in a sequence of 3 or 4, well, I just saw this one thing, which was, I forget, 3 or 4 connectors moving out from the old connection to Russia at the same time.
And GTO with Qso-Vlog for Qso-Vlog, which in GTO for ID.
I just thought it was just amazing, It comes to bring to mind these guys that are in charge of washing these insulators on these high voltage towers, that they have to figure out a way. The first thing they do is connect their helicopter to the wire that they're working on as they are insulating the insulator. That way, the helicopter is thousands of volts, but there's no arc between them, and that's why they can work like that.
It's called a static line, Jimmy. That's when they're both at the equal liberum of voltage. If it's got 4160, 6146 on the line, they basically go in there and they take that arcing stick and they get the chopper at the same potential as the power line is, and that's how everything works out so well.
Roger. I would really hate to be working on something and lose my my ground to or my sampling point to that high voltage line. Ooh, boy.
Now, once they do that with that stick, they have a clamp they clamp on there. It's called a static line. And the guy's got like 20 feet. He can go back and forth with the chopper. He may have 50 feet on that reel or 100. He can go back and forth, and he stays the same potential with the chopper over.
Roger. Now, if I were a new employee and my job was to wash insulators, I would say, are you sure about this?
Well, that's a good paying job, Jimmy. 10 years and you're retired, fully invested.
Yeah, if you make it.
So I'm going to tell you something. They're, believe it or not, a bus driver, he's got more chances of dying than a man washing insulators.
Well, it's particularly if you're a bus driver in Detroit.
Exactly.
All right, we're going to see if anybody's out there real quick to wrap this thing up. They want to get a radio check or check their radio, however that goes. This is Qso-Vlog, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have that radio, give me a shout.
So you know, Jimmy, special with me.
Now wait a minute, I'm not copying you on my local antenna. Why is that?
I'm not copying you on my local antenna. Why is that?
Me? I'm not sure. You must got something turned on.
No, I've got you. I guess you were just speaking quickly and taking a pause there, because when I went to my 7300, there was nothing there. I was copying the mail on my Kentucky SDR, but not on my local antenna, and I was saying, now how is that possible?
What's what happens when you got a man, you kind of remind me of your station.
I'll look for your package and I'll return the other one. 73s to both of you, and Lou, at some point I'm going to have a long QSO with you and catch up on everything. 73s, guys, WA8VMO.
All right, Chuck, 73s, WA8VMO with the 9GTO and Qso-9Vkv in the group. 73s, so have a blessed one. And, Jim, there was something I was going to tell you, but I've done lost. Oh, I sent you an email with a special link, Mr. Ferguson.
All righty, I'll get to that when I get to that. And in the meantime, I got to get out of here. Since 3:30, we've been transmitting and kidding around and doing a little help, setting folks up. And if you were receiving some of that or interested, we've been recording all along. And if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Qso-9Vkv, followed by the word logbook, that will bring you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 3300, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. So there you go. And Lou, let me say 73 to you, buddy. I appreciate the talk, and we thoroughly confused everybody.
That's what it's all about, Jimmy. You're dying my time. N9GTO listening.
Roger, 73. And this is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor, the Qso-9Vkv Qso-Vlog net, saying 73 and returning this frequency back to normal amateur radio use. Qso-9Vkv is clear.